All right, so let me know which question you have a homework. Yes, Samuel.
Can you go over like the last one, which is the piecewise function? 4x plus 10x less than or equal to c.
Right. So I did go over that one. Here, these questions. So this is the question, but the problem is I don't want to just go over this. I thought like, how many of you guys actually use Desmos to check it out if it's true? Lyndon, good job.
I solved it and then I checked on it.
Yeah, you should check out the Desmos, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like there was two situations that is connected.
Yeah.
So that's a part that I think I want you to approach it at. So this is how I approach it. I limit x plus c from the left side. Make sure you write on AP exam. It's equal to limit x plus the c. This is what FRQ wants you to do. Don't just plug in the value. You have to say I'm approaching c from the left and it's equal to c from the right. And once you do that, you're going to get 4c plus 10 equal to c squared plus 2c. I'll move everything to the right side, and I use quadratic formula. Quadratic
So
formula.
we won't do quadratic formula.
Yeah. Well, in this case, we do because usually you don't have to use quadratic formula, but this is the case that you have to use quadratic formula to solve, and that's why it was a bonus. Okay, so then you get 1 plus minus square root 11. But what's cool part is actually on Desmos. Hopefully you know how to do quadratic formula because that's on SAT. We have SAT expert. She will tell you it's on SAT.
I need that.
Well, you got 790 or 800?
780.
780. Kind of weak.
Asian distance.
How about reading?
680. English isn't my first language, so
I know.
Math is a universal language.
yeah, for sure.
670 is still better than a lot of you guys that's born here. I have you know what's my SAT reading score when I was in high school? 430.
140. So it's not 50 rounds.
1340.
430. I can read. I can do math all day long. I just can't read. So I have 1 plus minus square root 11. So if you look at here, I'm gonna put a new graph, and can somebody tell me the equation? 4x plus 10, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do a brace. X is less than c, I believe. What's the other one? Yeah, the part doesn't really matter, but I'll put it just in case. What's the other one?
X squared plus 2x.
2x. And you have to know how to use slider. It really help you on SAT as well. So C. Now, do you see that there's this things that it might connect it? So I'm gonna press the slider. So this connect once, this connect second time. Pay attention there and there, right? So we're gonna say where they are. 1 plus root 11, that's once. And 1 minus root 11, second time. So if math work out, it's work out perfectly. And that's why you should try it on Desmos. So Lyndon and Leon, that's a proper way to approach it. Most of you guys should try to look at Desmos, what the image look like. The more you do that, the more you get better at math because you get to see different things. You get to see the graphing perspective of, that's really, really important. Next question. No more questions?
No, I'm thinking about number 17. How do you prove the factorial in?
That's not factorial. That was just the first power.
Oh, that's just for the first.
Yeah, just first.
Okay.
I changed the other thing. Yes. Miranda? IVT, you just have to say 2x plus 3 is continuous. You have to write down f of x is continuous, and that was 2x minus 3. So then you just have to plug in the 1, which is you're going to get negative, and you plug in 2, which is positive. Then you can say IVT proved that there was a 0 because it went from negative to positive.
Wait, so I always have to go from negative to positive?
In order to get 0, yes, because from negative to positive, you had to pass by 0. But it doesn't have to be equal to 0. I can say is any FC is equal to 2, then that's a case probably no, because it didn't go through. It didn't go to 2. So it depends, like what is the endpoint and what is the C that are required.
So we don't look at the actual like numbers.
No, we don't care about the actual number. We just want to use IVT to prove it.
Okay, thank you.
Next question. Okay, I want to go over this particular question. I'm going to go over it really quickly. And the work is right here, and that's the proper work. This is the proper work for this question. How do I make sure that this function, this piecewise function is continuous? First thing, you must have to follow 3 conditions. The f of a must be defined. So I'm going to plug in f of 0. And I'm going to plug in the correct function because equal to 0 can only be this function, not the other function. So that's equal to 1. And then I'm going to say limit x approaching a. Limit x approaching a must approaching for both sides. So limit x approach 0 from the left side, 0 from the right side. I'm going to plug in 2 separate functions. This is 1 equal to e to the 0. 1 is equal to 1. Now, since they both equal to 1, that means the first condition and second condition equal to each other. So you can say, yes, this function is continuous. Without saying that, it's really hard to prove that. So you have to go through those conditions. So you have to understand the definition, understand the condition in order to prove they are continuous. You cannot just say, oh yeah, that looks like continuous to me on a graph. Well, that doesn't work. It has to be using algebraic proof to prove that those true. And not only that, you have to make sure that's limit x approach 0, limit x approach 0 on the left and right. Lee, did you do homework?
No.
What did you do homework?
Oh yeah.
You did?
I was on the other page.
Okay. Did you finish your homework?
I might ask a third question.
All right. So we're going to talk about today. Today is I'm going to repeat a lesson. Sepper,
I was at the attendance office. I came early for this. Well, they were like sponsoring me. As soon as I pull up to school, they take me to the room.
yeah, Lace, the Miss Giorgiano is pissed at you.
Yes, bro. I told her I'm dropping her class. I don't wish she's so mad.
Did you tell her that you're dropping the class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why you taking me?
Because she's about to pull your parking permit.
Oh, they really did that. And I was like, I don't have a parking permit. I'm like,
You just parking.
yeah. I don't have a car, bro. They're like they like call me out usually. They walk after me. I acted like I don't hear them, so I keep walking. But this time they're literally in front of school. As soon as I pull up, they take my ass to the office.
She's pissed.
Bro,
She just called me right now. I was like, this guy never show up in my class. He showed like half the period.
bro, I was a bit thrown over there.
You in the CA. You're in the CA.
Gotta take a picture. Wait. All right. So, remember Newton's problem. Newton's problem was a tangent run problem. What was that? There's a one Netflix series. I don't know if you guys watch that. Guys, it's a Chinese novel, and they make a movie out of it. It's pretty interesting. I forgot.
One Piece.
No, like a 3-body problem. Yes, 3-body problem.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, One Piece from 3-body problem. That's a big change. All right. Where's Caden?
I don't know. You gotta give him a smack when you see him. Remind him he can't skip your class anymore.
That's why I don't give him fist bump because
He hasn't earned it yet.
he hasn't earned it. All
I
right.
did homework though. We did it on call yesterday.
So this is a tangent line problem. So a planet is moving at elliptical path. We're trying to find the slope at that particular path because the slope is going to represent the velocity of the path. Now, if it's a comet is shooting straight path, then it's really easy to find the speed. The problem is the planet is moving at elliptical path, so you had to find the slope of tangent at that particular point, which is Newton had biggest problem. So Newton find a problem to solve it, find a way to solve it. When we talked about this before, I'm just going to go through really fast and make sure you understand it, because the first time it's probably really fuzzy. The second time is probably still going to be fuzzy, but it's going to be hopefully less fuzzy. But so I have this equation here, and we're going to call this f of x, and we're going to call this point x comma f of x. So what we're trying is find the slope of this point. Oops, slope of tangent at this point. Okay. Tangent line means they only intersect one point. They don't intersect multiple points, especially that region of the graph. Now I'm going to give you a definition of derivative first, and we're going to show you how that works. So the definition of derivative looks like this: f prime of x equal to limits as h approach 0 of f x plus h minus f of x all over h. So Newton found a way to solve a problem, and here's the solutions. But I'll show you the solution first, and then I'll show you how to come up with it. Yes. Can I repeat what? Formula, yeah. You can move the C up a little bit if you cannot see. If anybody cannot see, just move forward. It's okay. Just move all you group forward. Yes.
Is the h just a variable?
H is it's a value. It's an arbitrary number. Is becoming smaller and smaller.
Is that
So it's actually moving.
that's always the number that's going to be represented or used to represent a number that's getting smaller and smaller?
Yes.
Okay.
They use another book definition to answer Jacob's question. Another book, you're gonna see a delta x on today's homework. You're gonna see a delta x that represents h as well.
Okay.
Delta x is a small changing of x. So what happened is I can start with this 2 point, this black line here. I can say, okay, well, I can start with this point, and we're gonna call this the distance from here to this black point is gonna call it h. And then we can say, well, that's fine, a slope of this black line, but that's not what we want. But we're gonna start with a slope of the black line. And this point here, we're gonna call that as, because we have h, we added h on the x, so it'll be x plus h, comma of x plus h. So there's a new points there. So, and Newton suggested, Newton says, okay, well, we can do algebra 1. And the algebra 1 says m secant, so slope of secant is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It is also known as last year's average rate of change. If you did in Kench in all these classes, they will tell you that question is always on the test. They will ask you what's average rate of change. And so then you can say, okay, well, that becomes a new coordinate, which is x plus h minus f of x over h over x plus h minus x. Then you're going to see that canceling out. And this is the slope of the secant. Now, what Newton suggested says, well, we cannot find the slope of tangent. So this is the slope of tangent, what we want. But we can find our slope of secant, which is this m of secant is going to be this representation right here. And he suggested, says, well, what if I reduce the h? So in this case, the h is roughly 11 units. We can slowly changing from 11 units to maybe like 8 units. So let's do that. So that means I can change from here to here, and I'm gonna intersect still 2 points, and that still intersect 2 points. But now my slope of secant is getting closer to the tangent. And let's go to like say 5 units. And that says 2 units. Right? So I can reduce down to very, very close to 0. Once I get to very close to 0, I should be able to find slope of the tangent. That's the ideal, which is how close you have to get. You have to get to infinitesimally small, where h is almost 0, like 0.0001. You can find out almost the slope, because how about can it equal to 0? But the problem is cannot equal to 0, because 0 is here, it's going to cause undefined. And then so you cannot cause 0, so you say, okay, well, let's show you the better graph. Let's show you a graph that everybody have access to this, by the way. All you guys have decimals. You can click on like example. And if you go down the example, you're going down, going down, going down. There is a calculus, secant and tangent line. You click there. And I'm going to use a red line. I'm going to move it a little bit. And then not only I move it, I'm changing the function. I'm going to change to x squared. Now you see this is a secant line. Secant line, definition of secant line is 2 points. We want to find a slope by 1. When we want to find a slope by 1, then we can get closer. Remember, we want to ideally get very, very close. And we're going to try to get closer. But when you get there, the line disappears because undefined. Do you see that slope? Do you see that slope that says NS there? It went from 3.29 to 2.8 to 2.6, 2.5, 2.16, 2.08, 2.01. We can probably safe to assume if we become 1, x equal to 1, that slope is equal to 2. What Newton wanted to discover is even better. Newton says, I don't want to just find out a particular point. I want to be able to, I plug in a value, I find a slope at any given x. And that's why he did. So he says, well, we can say, so now we change to red because m of tangent is equal to limits as h approach 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Now, not only that, we just adding this part. This is the extra part when h approach 0. And you say, okay. And so we call it this as f prime of x. So this becomes f prime of x, which is also the slope of tangent, is equal to f of x limits as h approach 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. So this is known as definition of derivative. Definition of derivative. Yes.
I got 2 questions. So what does the m represent?
M is a slope.
Slope, okay. So why is that equal to f prime?
Yeah, so he Newton says, I want to use the f prime of x to represent the slope of the tangent.
Okay.
And this is known as derivative. So that prime means the derivative of the function. So that's how they denote it as. Now, with that being said, we're going to try on this function. We're going to say, hey, f of x is equal to x squared. And we're going to use definition of derivative, which is your quiz on Friday is going to have definition of derivative. you're gonna have to figure out what this definition of derivative is. So remember, the f prime of x equal to limits as h approach 0, f of x plus h minus f of x over h. In pre-calc, we call it difference of a quotient. But in this case, we're going to call this a definition of derivative because we have limits now. We're going to actually use on this particular function. We're going to say, okay, well, the f prime of x is equal to limits, don't forget the limits, h approach 0. We're going to plug in the x with x plus h. Because that's what we want. This is a composite function. We're going to plug in x plus h into the function. And that's going to look like this. Is that okay? Because basically what f of x plus h just told you to plug in the x plus h, replace the x. But make sure when you do it, you must include in a parenthesis minus x squared over h. What I did is I use the definition of derivative right now to find derivative. Now Jacob's going to be like, I don't need this. I don't need this definition of derivative.
I didn't say that, bro.
No, I'm just
curiosity is peak.
I'm just saying that he's gonna say like I saw the Instagram reel of Kim Kardashian and the Kanye West is trying to teach power rule. Unfortunately, you cannot use that right now. Okay, unfortunately, you cannot use that right now. Yes.
X plus h squared. Why is it just x squared and then x plus h?
No, because so let's just say if today I have a function f of x equal to x plus 1. F of x plus 2, that just replace the x with x plus 2. So it'll be x plus 2 plus 1. So in this case, we replace the x with x plus h. But the whole thing is parenthesis. Because you replace something, you must include in the parenthesis. So now don't kill a kitten or puppy, sorry. So limits as h approach 0. Now I'm going to expand this. So the best way to expand, I'm going to expand on the side. Don't get confused. So you must write out twice. Otherwise, you think it's x squared minus h squared. That's wrong. Because this one's going to give you x squared, hx plus h squared. So it'll be x squared plus 2hx plus h squared minus x squared over h. Now, do you see something you can cancel? Now, limits as h approach 0 of 2hx plus h squared over h. Now, if I plug in direct substitution, I'm going to get 0 over 0. That means I can do more math. In this case, what kind of math? Factor h out. 2x plus h over h. The whole idea is you're trying to get rid of h on the bottom because h is approach 0. If h approach 0 is called undefined, so we finally get rid of that. We no longer have h on the bottom because h is going to 0, and it'll be limits as h approach 0 of 2x plus h. And in this case, it's going to be 2x. But what does 2x mean? 2x means f prime of x. This means the slope at any given value is become a general form of something. 2x represents slope for x squared at any given moment. What we're going to do is we're going to look at this. We say, okay, what does that mean? That means we say it's 2, right? We plug in 1. Guess what? 2 times 1 is equal to 2. Slope at x equal to 1 is equal to 2. Not only that, Newton did it better because not only in that 1 we can find out what happened if it's negative 2. What happened negative 2? Will be 2 times negative 2, that's equal to negative 4. We know slope is negative 4. So you say, okay, well, is that true? Well, let's go check whether it's true or not. So let's say we're gonna scroll all the way to 2 here. Do you see that it's approaching what? -4. It's approaching -4 slowly. Right? So, but he predict that it's -4 just by using an equation. And that equation is a slope at any point. So we call it f prime of x.
Slope of what? Oh.
Slope at any given x value. Okay, so now I want you to try it. I want you to find f of x equal to square root of x. Okay? So I'm going to ask you a 3-part question. A, it says find f prime of x. And that's how am I going to give you on your quiz. I'm going to say find f prime of x. B, I can say find the slope at x equal to 2. X equal to 4, sorry. C, find equation of tangent line at x equal to 4. So I want you to find equation tangent line at x equal to 4. I want you to find the derivative. I want to find the slope. So there are 3 parts question. First of all, find f prime of x using definition of derivative. Yes.
Before we go, can you explain the last problem? That last set, it's a little bit confusing. So how do
They
we
say
plug-
slope at any given x value.
Oh, yeah, I get that. But how do we know to plug in the f of 1 there?
No, let's just say if I want to slope at 1, then I just plug in 1.
Oh, those,
If I want to find slope at -2, I plug in -2, it's going to give you a -4, which is already verified on decimals. It's very close to
I
-4.
thought that was part of the same problem. That's my bad.
No, it's okay. It's got it. So right now, I want you to find f prime of x. This is very easy. You've done this before, I promise you.
I did not have the first set. X plus a minus term. Oh my god.
What time we get off here?
A couple minutes.
Okay, so we're going to start f prime of x is equal to limits as h approach 0. And this one's going to be x plus h, right?
Yeah.
Minus square root x over h. So what we're going to do is we plug in, this will be 0 over 0. So we need to multiply something called conjugate.
It's 1 over 4.
And that will be limit h approach 0. So that's going to be x plus h minus x over h. Remember, we're trying to get rid of this h right here because it's causing the denominator goes cuckoo. So this x cancel out. This h will cancel out, becomes 1. So that will be limit h approach 0 will be 1 over square root x plus square root x because h is going to 0. So 1 over 2 root x. Is that okay? Now, yes.
Do you like right find
we don't have to rationalize. The reason why we don't have to rationalize because it's f prime x. So f prime x equal to 1 over root x, 2 root x. This is perfect. Now, if I want to find the slope at 4, I plug in 4. So 1 over 2 times square root of 4 is equal to 1 over 4, right? So that's an equation tangent line. Well, equation tangent line is usually by this form, y minus y1 equal to m times x minus x1. We have this is m. Is that okay?
Isn't that also point slope formula?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. And we know that this x equal to 4 is going to here. What is the y value? What is y1? No, it's 2.
Yeah.
Remember, f of x is equal to square root x. So f of 4 is equal to square root of 4. That's equal to 2. So therefore, this is the 2. So y minus 2 equal to 1/4 times x minus 4. And you just find the equation tangent line. Now on AP exam, in the old AP exam, not the new AP exam. New AP exam, they don't understand. They don't ask you hard question anymore. Remember this. I can ask you the next part is find equation of normal line. Now, what is normal? Think of in term of physics. What does normal in physics mean? Anybody taking physics right now? What's normal in physics mean?
More linear.
What?
Lines.
No. No, separate. What's normal mean?
Like opposite,
Almost.
like negative.
It's perpendicular. So if you want a normal line, it's a perpendicular. Because let's just say normal line, why is normal? Let's just say they have an incline, right? And there is a car, right? What will be the normal? Normal here, right? Does that make sense? You did this in physics, right? So that is the normal of the incline. So it's actually normal. So people think about normal, they just think about a regular line, but it's actually perpendicular line. I don't know why they call it normal. So that will be y minus 2 is equal to -4 because opposite reciprocal, and then x minus 4. So this is called a normal line. On Friday's quiz, I will ask you equation of normal line. That just makes sure it is opposite reciprocal. On SAT, it's going to be perpendicular line is opposite reciprocal. See, a lot of time I'm reviewing about a lot of SAT. You have to go in and pay attention. Because if you pay attention, your SAT score is going to go up. Yes.
But it's not like tangent line. Do you just write the equation or just actually solve it?
No, you can. This is the equation already. You don't need to change the y equal to mx plus b. If you want to, you can just distribute and move the 2 over to the other side, and that'll be equation of tangent line.
Okay.
I mean, that'll be slope intercept. Sorry.
Why did it change to -4?
Because the opposite reciprocal. If you have on SAT, if it says perpendicular, you change the 4. This is m equal to 4. The m perpendicular is the opposite. So opposite means you change the sign from 4 to -4. Reciprocal because it's changing the fraction. So it'll be 1 over -4. Does that make sense? Because opposite is -4. Reciprocal means you flip. So think about it's 4 over 1. 4 over 1 if you flip is 1 over 4. So therefore, or if you have a star 1 over 4, then it's going to flip the 4 over 1 and put a negative sign. So that's called perpendicular. If it's an SAT question, that basically, if they say perpendicular, opposite, reciprocal. Remember 2 words. Opposite, reciprocal. Any questions?
No, it's mistake.
The two comes around one at the you were one.
Take me like 7.